we're late. And it's this one's fault. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
We made it halfway through the week.
Yes. And yeah, no, that's about it. We both had absolutely amazing days. So here's to us making it through the day.
Could have used a
How
mixed drink,
could
actually.
you? Yes, Tifa, how could you?
I know, right? I'm sorry.
Not sorry enough.
Yeah.
We need a poke the Tifa command, I think.
I came home shortly before stream.
I was
There
like,
was not enough time.
let me know what's happening. Yeah, no, I'm on my way.
I was on my way. But I also need time when I'm home to get ready. Like, I walked through the door and Jack's like, we need to get ready for stream. I'm like, I just came in.
Yeah, get your shit together. It's okay, I woke up late so it works out. I love the fact that our shared brain cell doesn't just give us the ability to know each other's thoughts while they're happening. It also means that we are so in sync when one of us has a shitty day, it affects all of us. At least we can relate in that way, you know?
I don't want to say today was the shittiest day in a while, because every day feels shitty at the moment, but it's definitely been an absolute fucked up day, yeah.
Mine was just long. I'm complaining on the highest level, like mine was just long, thankfully.
But
that's a good thing to complain about.
Not sure. But I can tell you it is definitely a universal thing, because I also came past a little kid who's also having a really fucked up day when I was going home. You know, before I continue, Steeled, how you doing? Long time
Happy
no see.
Wednesday. How are you?
I don't know what the English term is. You know, those things a car can drive through? Like yeah, that was my elbow. Like it blocks the way, and when you want to go through, it goes like bloop, and then you go. Yeah, what's the English term? And then the cars pass and it goes bloop.
Just pronounce it Englishly. It's a shranky.
A shranky. Yeah, the shranky things that go up and down.
A barrier.
Barrier, that makes sense. And I walk past one on my way to work, which has a little path next to it that has seen some shit during its lifetime, that it's been there. Like, it's basically taped together, it's kind of light, it bounces when it goes back down. But the poor thing gets driven through a lot, so it's basically tape stuck to one another. It's just
wibbly wobbly.
And there were two moms, I assume, talking to one another while their kids were running around and playing. And they were playing with the shranky barrier.
Shranky is not an actual word. It will be after today.
And they're like climbing over it, under it, chasing one another. Like, it's not a good idea to play with those things.
That's really dangerous.
Whatever. So at some point they heard, Timmy! Stop playing with that! So of course they ignore it, and at some point, Timmy, I assume, not a real name for privacy reasons,
but it had Timmy energy,
gets under it and starts lifting the thing up.
Oh god, I can see where this is going.
And it's not even too heavy, you know, you're good. He had some issue with it, but he's lifting the thing off.
Did he do the full Legend of Zelda Link has gotten an item holding it over his head thing?
Basically. And then he steps forward and lets go of the thing. Just when his friend runs under him and this thing hits him full on the head, kid goes down, mother starts
like a
screaming.
sack of potatoes just falling?
He fell,
yeah.
He was still conscious. I didn't see any bleeding either, so I assume...
Yeah, but I have a story about these things too. When you get hit straight on the head, like your center of gravity, like you just like you crumple, like you just like you will go down, and it's horrible. But there's also a funny quality to seeing it. I'm not in favor of people getting hurt. I'm trying to find a silver lining. I'm just saying it looks funny when somebody goes down like this. It's not a good thing.
It was just bad timing. Like, I walked past and I was thinking, like, oh, this kid's gonna get hit on the head. Like, he's gonna let go and hit himself. Like, I walked past it and I just imagined it completely. Didn't think his friend would get hit. And honestly, I just kept walking.
So the kid okay?
The parents were there. I'm sure they were fine.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. And if a situation would have needed, I'm pretty sure you would have noticed because they would have called for help. Like, hey, you over there.
I think there would have been more screaming. But that kid is
some sort of reaction.
Gonna have one heck of a headache.
Hopefully not a concussion because, yeah, that ain't good.
I hope not, but I also don't think the thing is heavy enough for that. Like, it's relatively light for Shranky, I think.
About that, I have a story about a barrier, or Shranky as they are now called in the English language. Also, I skipped over it. Dark Lord, congrats on being second. Nice.
Didn't say that either.
I think I've told the story before. Doesn't matter. Ages ago, I physically was in the office, and after work I wanted to pick up Tifa, who worked nearby. So I've never heard someone say Shranky.
It's
the German word pronounced Englishly. It's cool, you know. It's like Gyat and Riz and Ohio and Skibbity. We make things into the language as we go along.
I feel like it kind of works.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it has Riz. Anyway, so I go to pick up Tifa after work, and there is this parking lot, and that also has one of those barrier thingies that go ooh, car comes in, goes up, car is through, goes down. So, and I'm making a shortcut over that parking lot. But next to the barrier, there's a path for people to walk on, specifically so that you don't walk underneath that thing, because unlike the one in Tifa's story, that one was a sturdy motherfucker. So
that was one of those metal ones.
Yes, it looked like it would weigh a ton. And your car will get stuck under there. Unless you do the action movie thing and you drive really fast and just crash through it, you will get stuck. It's specifically made so that you pay for access to the parking lot. Anyway, so I'm coming from where I'm coming from, and down the street, the opposite direction, is this older gentleman. I would have guessed like late 60s, and he's walking my way. As we approach the entrance to the parking lot, a car goes through, stops, barrier goes whoop, car drives through.
Barrier, by the way, is Shranky for those that don't know in English.
Yeah, in case you want to hit people and use a Shranky, you know, translating. Thank you very much. That's necessary.
I felt like it was needed to make sure everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fair. I need translation sometimes for the young people because I'm old. So, we're walking towards the parking lot, and I turn left because I want to walk into the thing, and I see the gentleman walking slightly to the right, and I'm thinking, this guy is gonna walk under the barrier, and the devil's in the details. The barrier, Shranky, is gonna close and it's gonna hit him right on his friggin' noggin. I turn left, I go in, he takes a step forward, the barrier goes phoom, hits him almost at the apex. Like, if this is the thing that goes down, like this, like 90% of the energy going down, hits him straight in the middle of his head.
That thing also doesn't even like slowly go down. That is the one that like drops.
That thing had so much force, there wasn't even a plonk, a thud. It didn't make a sound, it just went boom. He drops. If you ever carried a bag of potatoes or, I don't know, gardening soil, whatever people carry around in larger bags. I'm German, we carry potatoes. He just fell like that. He just, like, his knees went forward, his back went straight down. He just, I can't do it on camera because I'm sitting. He just crumpled, fell to the ground. I'm like, fuck my life. This guy needs help. So he's laying there, and now it's gonna get slightly graphic, not too much, don't worry. I turn around, I see the guy laying there. I'm like, okay, first aid training, what do you do? See if you can talk to him. Sir, are you alright? Can you hear me?
Little spiral of blood coming out
Are
of
you
his
conscious?
forehead.
And I take a step towards him. It wasn't a little driplet of blood or a spiral. It was spouting in bursts. Right from the middle of his head. If you remember Omori sprout molds, like that, but the thing on top was blood. And it came in bursts. Like, so I see the guy, I see the blood. I'm like, fuck. Sir, are you alright? Can I help you up? He's like, no, it's okay, I'm fine. I'm like, sir, you're not fine. Please let me help you. He's like, yeah, okay, help me. He couldn't get up. So I help him on the side. He gets on his hands and knees. Yeah, nah, I'm good. That's the shock speaking. That's the shock. So I help him on the side, slowly get him to his feet. I'm like, sir, there's a car dealership right over there. I'm gonna bring you there. You need first aid. He's like, no, I'm fine. Unhand me. I'm like,
it's the shock.
I let go of him because he told me to, right? I'm like, sir, I really think I should help you. You are unsteady. You've just been hit really hard in the head. Please hook in. I'll hold you, and we just walk a few steps over there. Now it didn't anymore. It slowed down, so like, and it started running down the side of his head.
I'm laughing, but I know the guy was
because,
okay.
Yes, that spot bleeds real easy. Like, if you didn't know this was real, you would have thought it was a bad movie. I've never seen anything like this in my life. But it looked like, you know, in a badly made movie when somebody just gets a cut, it's like, it was like that. Apparently that can really happen.
Yeah, also not the type of sprinkler you would like.
No, definitely. Yes, it did sound like it. It looked like it too, but unfortunately it was blood. So I helped him get over to the office that they had there. The door opens, and I did a selfish thing because I knew by law they have to have first aid kits and stuff, and technically it kind of happened on their parking lot. So I took the guy, I walked up to people there. I'm like,
he needs help.
This man got hit by your barrier. I need to go. I think he needs first aid. Maybe put a bandage on him. And I sat him down, and then people were like, which understandably, that's also the face I made, I assume.
I mean, he's coming in covered in blood at that point.
Yeah, he was dripping, like his head was. People got a first aid kit, they started talking to him, got him some water, and then I left. I didn't like just drop him and run away.
I have fun with him, I gotta go, like my time's up. Bye.
Yeah, my bus is leaving. No, I dropped him off, he was getting help, and I'm pretty sure he was more okay with getting help there, because this might be sexist, but you know, guys gonna guys. It was 3 ladies in tailored suits taking care of him. And I feel like that helped him accept the aid.
Because of the professional setting, plus all women tending him.
Yeah. If you have a, let's say, near-death experience, having a harem will be beneficial to the healing process, I believe.
Yeah.
Old men will old men. I mean, if I can choose between being administered first aid by the equivalent of a bridge troll or attractive people, and they have the same skills.
There are worse way to go, that's true.
If it goes wrong, at least.
But after that, though, the shitty part is they put a gate around that parking lot and you couldn't walk through anymore. And that was in such a handy part to cross, and now you had to take like a 20-minute detour because you couldn't take the shortcut anymore. Like, that was so annoying.
Yeah, disgusting.
Because they didn't want to risk more accidents on their ground, which I can understand.
right? Because who would want to be worked on by someone who isn't attractive? I mean, ultimately, I don't care. Speaking from the experience, just be less ugly next time. I've been trying all my life.
As long as you can turn off the sprinkler, I'd be quite happy. But you know, if you might die, might as well.
Listen, I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying that this sounds like a horrible way into it. But hear me out. I do have a point. It might take a moment to get across though. For as long as I could remember, my grandfather always seemed like he was in some sort of state of dying. And you can attest to that.
He's been dying since the first day I met him, like 14 years ago, 13 years ago.
And I'm not being like poetic about this, you know, like, oh, every day. No, I'm not trying to be cute here. I'm saying this man, when he was given attention, every pain he ever felt was magnified a millionfold. And I'm not saying he wasn't in pain, but he could have done something about it. That's just so you know. I'm not being mean for the sake of being mean. I'm being mean against somebody who could have tried to make the situation better but chose not to.
No, I do agree. Your grandfather always was in pain and had pain, but he also put a very theatrical...
He enjoyed the attention.
...atmosphere on it. Like, he could walk fine for a while, but then the moment you look at him, he's like... and like starts stumbling, and then when you stop paying attention to him, he's like running straight through again. Yes. It's stuff like that.
Which maybe that makes me a douchebag, but if you notice this, it becomes harder to accept that he is in pain permanently. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not proud of it, but it gets a bit harder because it's the boy who cried wolf. When are you actually in pain? How am I supposed to, like, how do I notice, how do I see from your face or your expressions or your words when it gets worse and when it gets better? Because it seems to rely entirely on whether you're being viewed. Like, it's like physics, like the state of quantums in space, like you can only see when you check. That's my grandfather, basically.
But the moment a young woman came into play, like in a restaurant, hotel...
Pain-free.
Doesn't matter where, he turned into Iron Man.
He would outrun you.
Like, no issues.
Brittle bones,
nothing.
messed up, like joints and stuff.
Straight as a stick, suddenly.
He would have wrestled a grizzly bear for the attention of a young, attractive waitress. So, have my experiences watching this for most of my adult life given me some sort of bias that older men will prefer treatment from attractive ladies? Yeah, I do think so. Should it matter? No. No, it shouldn't. You know, you gotta love someone attractive trying to stop your sprinkler. Exactly.
That pride comes before the fall.
Yeah, no. I hope for everybody that you never meet people like this and you don't have people like this in your family, because I feel like it kind of skewed my worldview in on certain topics, like this one. I'm just saying, when I dropped off a guy and he realized there were all ladies now trying to take care of him, he looked more at ease than he was when he was hooked under my arm. Just saying.
Whatever works.
Is there a moral to this story? Not really. So I hope, ultimately, going back to your story, I hope the kid is okay.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy way to get a concussion.
Pretty sure he was fine. I didn't get the impression he wasn't.
Fair enough. Maybe he didn't want a man touching him. I mean, first he told me he doesn't need help or he doesn't want help, then he said he does.
I mean, it's like first reaction, no? Do you need help? No.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, true. Plus,
you just got hit on the head. Like,
with the adrenaline and the shock, you don't realize that you're hurt, which is good as a survival thing, like for your body. But when you realize, yeah, I'm kind of seeing stars. It's like I've been hit really hard in the head. Yeah, he was out of it. I would have been too. Like, I've never been I've had multiple concussions in my life because I was a really dumb child. Maybe you can still tell. But yeah, no, fair. Pride and inert homophobia, the strange things to do. I don't think it was a homophobia part. I
think it's more the initial shock in the moment and thinking it's not that bad. I don't need help.
I would put it entirely on shock and some degree of pride. Because, I don't know, I did hit myself in the face a couple times at work. The first time was a deck chair. The second time was a lawnmower.
How do you hit yourself in the head with a lawnmower? Or is it one of the old-fashioned ones that you need to push and it has like this high handle where you can just go?
Dark Lord, if you're willing to share, I would love to hear both stories. If you're pressed for time, the lawnmower one specifically. Because I have so many questions. How? Were you okay / are you okay? Because when I hear lawnmower accident to the face, I mean, I don't know what part of a lawnmower hit your face. All of them are bad, some are worse, you know? Sometimes it was a 2-man lift and the other guy wasn't lifting hard enough. Please tell me you held like the handle part or something, or like a non-blade part, because yeah, no, I
have a...
Nah.
I need to quickly imagine how the old-fashioned lawnmowers look, but that, and remember the high handle,
had like
this little thing at the bottom?
Blade wheel thing at the front, no?
No, but it's covered in, when you, I think it used to be covered in this thing, yeah. And then you have to actually push them. Do those things still exist?
I think they make them for like nostalgic reasons, but most people don't use them.
Like I always see people sitting on these little lawnmowers with a steering wheel nowadays. I don't actually see lawnmowers anymore.
Yeah, I think for smaller lawns they just use like gas-powered ones or electric ones nowadays. Do they make them electric?
I think it makes sense. It's like an item you never realized disappeared.
No. Got hit by the handle of it. Did hurt like hell. Fully understandable. I'm happy for you retroactively that it wasn't a different part of a lawnmower, because that story could have taken a completely different turn.
That is true.
Yeah.
The worst thing I've done at work is forget I was filling up a bucket, overflows into the floor, then slip in running back to get it when I remembered it. I might have done that more than one time. I had a similar situation when I was younger and I worked in a cinema. I remember it was like 2 a.m. Last movie was over, was super tired, and I still had to clean the kitchen. And we used to serve snacks and stuff too. And I emptied the oil thing, or the fryer.
Grease.
And it had like this little, what do you call it?
Shranky.
No, you could like turn it on and then all of the oil would come out at the bottom.
A knob.
A knob.
Okay.
So I emptied the oil in a bucket, cleaned the air fryer thing, and put like 10 liters of new oil on it.
I think you just missed a step.
So I remember pouring the 10-liter can into the air fryer thing, waiting, half asleep, my eyes closed. Put it away again with like these huge air fryers that go over several thingies. And I start slipping and fall on my ass. The entire kitchen floor was covered in frying oil at 2 a.m. when I wanted to go home, and I had 3 jobs at that time. I had to start at 8 a.m. at the supermarket again for my next shift. And now I still had to clean the kitchen floor.
10 liters of oil, that... I was thinking, you turn the knob to release the old grease, and then you pour in the new one.
The old grease was in a bucket.
Yeah, but you never mentioned that you turned the knob back to close it. So
I didn't think of it. So I mopped up all of the oil, but the floor was still slippery as fuck. Yeah, at that point, it was like 3, 4 a.m., more towards 4 a.m., I think. And you could not walk in the kitchen without falling. So I grab all of the popcorn salt I could find from the cupboard.
Smart thinking, actually, yeah. It's a waste, but hey, you know.
Covered the entire kitchen in salt and just left.
What else are you gonna do? Like, I would have left a note. Wasn't me. Tifa. P.S. I quit. I don't think I would have ever showed up again. I couldn't have, out of shame.
I was so, I'm just throwing salt everywhere, like fuck that shit. It took like a week before the floor was walkable again.
How did I clean it in the end?
I don't know, but it wasn't me.
With 100 liters of cleaning detergent to get rid of fat. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Asapsak, I'm very happy you never hurt yourself, because you also deal with a bit more serious equipment at work, if I recall.
Yeah, definitely. Stay safe. If anything seems like, hey, this is slippery, I don't have a good feeling, my gut tells me not to do this, don't. Run all the checks, double, triple, quadruple, doesn't matter. You only have one health, one body. And maybe don't pour oil straight on the ground through a machine.
It was horrible. I still recall that night very clearly.
When you close your eyes late at night, do you still feel the sandy crunch of the salt oil under your shoes as you walked out? Because that must kind of sound like you're walking over sand, right?
Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
You only have 100 HP and most things do 101 damage. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Yes, 100%. I drink to that.
So cutting yourself with shears also sucks. Or just hurting yourself in general sucks.
Yeah, avoid cutting yourself. Also avoid running into shelves and avoid falling.
Yeah.
Basically, just always wear protective gear, don't go outside. The other day, Tifa was in a mode of, I need to clean up.
That needs to be done.
You look at me. I mean, I'm not cleaning up and I'm perfectly fine. So it can be not done. I'm just saying. You just have to try harder. But Tifa specifically was trying to move stuff that was on top of shelves and in the highest shelves, which neither of us can reach because we're rather high up. But instead of using the little step ladder we have, it's one of those fold out ones. It's really sturdy because I don't like standing on ladders. So we bought the most sturdy one money can buy, because otherwise I will not get on there. I take a shower because I was at the gym when you started. I came back and I see her get on top of the kitchen chairs. And we have these bar stool kind of things. I held her the entire time.
It was easier to get on than getting the ladder, taking it out, setting it up.
There is 7 steps you needed to move extra. And one door to a sideboard to open. A cupboard.
I haven't fallen off of those yet.
Yeah, let's keep it at that. Tifa is a walking safety risk.
Excuse me, you hurt yourself more in the kitchen than I do.
Because I also do more in the kitchen. Yeah, see, she was usually knives and my fingers. Not a good combination.
Let me say different. You cut yourself more than I do.
Yeah, not on purpose.
And I usually burn myself more than you do.
That is true. Because Tifa doesn't believe in oven mitts and stuff. She'd rather just crumple up like a sweater or something. And when I see her do this movement, I start yelling.
It depends on what it is.
You've done that once and burned your hand.
If it's taking something out of the oven, I use oven mitts. If it's taking something off of the oven plates, I just use my hands. It's
Do you see what I'm living with? Nicked my hands trying to fillet limes into thin slices. Ooh, that's the worst. I would imagine you also then got some lime juice
that's gotta burn
next to the wound and that burns like a... I feel the burn on my fingers right now. I've about chopped my finger. your finger food before. Your fingers into food? Either way, not good. I need more water. Oh, now my thumb is tingling.
Does it help?
No. But you know when you feel like you like electrified in part of your body, so you like try to rub it to get rid of the sensation, but it doesn't work? That. Thanks, Dark Lord.
But yeah, don't lift lawnmowers, don't cut your hands, do not walk under shrankies if you can avoid it.
Always trust shrankies with respect.
Especially the ones that are already open. Do not believe it will not come down, because it might.
It will. It not just might, it will.
Well, some are like always open, but I feel like the moment you expect it's always open, it will come down.
Yeah, it's inviting trouble. Don't do it.
Basically, yeah.
My dad thought it was a good idea to let a 5-year-old sharpen a pencil with a knife. Yeah.
No?
I don't know your dad, but I disagree with that move. Like,
special skill.
Yeah, can't recommend. Mess with a shrunk and you'll be the krank. Yes, or in proper English, mess with a barrier and you'll be on sick leave. Yeah.
That's kind of fitting.
That too needs to be on a t-shirt, I feel like.
But do you know who else is on sick leave? Or will be on sick leave?
You know what else should be on t-shirts? Tifa's recaps.
That was a really good recap.
Mine was better.
No.
Mine was better.
I'm sorry. This or not really good recap. This was a really good
segue.
You
let us know which one you like better. We all know it was mine. Tifa, what happened the last time we played Higurashi when they cried chapter 3 Tatarigoroshi? Look at me saying the whole title without looking at it.
I only remember the end actually. Satoko came back to school. We were very happy. We all pretended everything was fine again to get some normalcy back into it. When Satoko was looking a bit like that on the chair while we were petting her. And
we don't know if she was on a chair now.
She was still sitting at first. We were having lunch. And then there was a sound and that's where we saved and we're pretty sure she fainted.
Okay, rewind. Forget what she said because that's how it ended. We went back to school eventually. And when we were at school, Satoko was there, which was cool. But before we could properly be happy about this, we were asked to step outside because we were super late. And then Chie, our teacher, together with little girl, Rika, told us or dropped some lore on the things that have happened the last 3 times somebody called Child Protective Services about Satoko, and we learned that the people of the OG family we know about that she lost tragically was technically not the first family she had, because her mother had remarried or had married a guy that wasn't Satoko's biological father. Apparently she had multiple relationships until she ended in this one, which is like, you know, stuff like this happens. Nothing wrong with it. But even though Satoshi got along really well with the new dad, Satoko didn't. And Satoko did the things that...
she turned into the typical problem child.
Yeah, assumedly in an effort to get the attention of her mother, who allegedly she believed, as per the psychologist that spoke to her, she thought like the new dad was stealing her mother from her, so she like did things. But these things ultimately also included accusing the dad of abusing her. So when Child Protective Services came by, they were like, okay, what's happening? They investigated this, and allegedly, because I don't believe anything in this game anymore, the dad was like, well, I've scolded her passionately because I see her as my daughter. I'm sorry if I was too emotional in it, but I've never laid a finger on the kid. She's making this shit up. I didn't do nothing of the sort. Like, you can help me be a better dad, but the things I'm accused of, I didn't do. And then later on, every time something like this happens, the powers that be were like, well, he's done it once.
Let's wait and see.
It's kinda hard to prove that this time she isn't also crying wolf. So now, I do want to believe that this girl isn't doing these things to herself, but unfortunately I fully understand why an institution that is made to look after children in these horrible situations would be like, yeah, is it actually the real thing this time, or is she just making things up again because she wants some sort of attention or something, because we don't know. And it didn't help that when they did show up this time at Teppei's place to go like, hey, we've gotten reports that you're abusing this child, Satoko said like, yeah, no, nothing happened. No, I fell. I hurt myself accidentally. It's all cool. No, I'm perfectly good. So whether it is her weird expression of feelings about her brother being gone, whether it actually is just her trying to get attention from somebody, or whether she's actually suffering abuse, or anything else.
Well, I think at this point it's clear that she actually is, but now she doesn't want it reported because she believes her brother will return to her if she can show that she can handle this abuse, because before it turned out she was always hiding behind her brother, who took the brunt of the force.
Yeah, the problem is, for me, like, I know what I want to believe, but I've been given all of this information so that objectively I don't know what I think is the truth in this situation.
It's Higurashi, everything can still change.
Yeah, and hey, for all I know, back in the original instance of, hey, I'm being abused, please come help me, then the dad got away with it. And she was actually telling the truth. He just got away with hiding the fact that he did it. We don't know, like, we weren't there.
Sure. Motonart, how you doing?
Hello, Motonart. Happy Wednesday. How are you? Steeled, please be safe in your tropical storm, because that doesn't sound nice either. Layers. It has layers and I hate all of them. I liked the part of chapter 3 so far when we were setting our kitchen almost on fire, and then we all had a little friendship dinner and was like, hey, I'm gonna call you Nini because you remind me of my bro.
That was so
like,
sweet.
That was adorable. And I like the slice of life part. Everything else after that kind of sucked. Which is that I hate it, but it's a testament to the story gripping me to the point where I have these emotions about it. So like, it's a good thing, but I'm angry about it. I just wish I wasn't angry about it.
Well, I think the one thing we can say for sure right now is that Satoko, in this moment, needs our help.
Yes.
Because she's probably laying on the floor at this point.
After we learned all of this, we went back, we were told, pretend like you never learned all of this. We didn't tell you. Kind of hard. We all had lunch together. Satoko was starving just like us because we didn't eat anything yet. And just when we were like, no, bump. I assume she fainted and fell. She looked really bad in the one shot we got of her.
Yeah.
You ready, Tifa?
I'm ready.
I'm not. There we go.
I think you're on the next page.
Yes, we are. Let's do this.
Satoko-chan?
I need you to redo the line number because we get into the game and Tifa does... I've only ever really seen this with like action movies and I want to say like boxing matches. Maybe it's from where I sit, but like you did this like lean forward, kind of like ducked, and like you grabbed your collar pulling it forward. Like you were getting ready to fight somebody. You know, like kind of.
Knocked out Satoko while nobody watched.
Please don't fight me. It's just a visual. Definitely been better. Okay, sorry to hear that. My mom and her girlfriend are packing everything, including several animals, before a hurricane hits and Groundhog's mom is in hospital for a procedure. Oh, damn. Okay.
I see you're also in a tropical storm.
Shit. Dude. Yeah. I'm super happy you're here. And I'm happy because that means you're safe. But go take care of that. Like.
Well, I don't believe Matanard lives in the area of...
Okay. Yeah, true. You mentioned you traveled to see your family a while ago. Yeah,
and
fair.
usually you don't travel towards the hurricane.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. Tifa totally would, but that's a different problem.
Wow. No, but that is shitty timing. I do hope Hawk Mom.
I forgot what we agreed on last time. Yes,
I hope
they're all safe. They stay safe.
Procedure is done fast and nothing too serious, hopefully.
Definitely.
Don't forget to pack every animal.
Easier said than done sometimes.
That's true.
Best of luck. There isn't really anything you can do about a hurricane other than grab your stuff, get in a car and drive as fast as you can to safety, or find a safe shelter somewhere where you are, whichever is better.
The weather is going...
It's climate change. It's getting worse.
It's nuts everywhere. Steeled is in a tropical storm. Where was it? Romania and Switzerland are dealing with...
Yeah, we had floodings over here in Europe the last few weeks in the Czech Republic, Austria, southern Germany. Yeah. It's getting worse. My mom's across the country, unfortunately. We live in Florida, which is a hurricane magnet. Yeah, it's like it's also like right at the coast, so like it's the first thing that gets hit usually. I'll think of you and your family. There's
Dark Lord's mom, also in Florida. Hope she stays safe as well.
Yeah, all of you. Power goes out every season. It's fucked up. I mean, what can you do when there's a hurricane, right? Like,
it comes with the area, unfortunately, like you said.
Hog Mom, that was a Terry Pratchett book, I think.
I have no clue.
I couldn't tell you. I've seen one Discworld movie. I've never actually read the books. Tifa has one book by Terry Pratchett. I think it was Good Omens.
Good Omens.
And you said you couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I really didn't like it.
Apparently the show is good though.
Yeah, but not liking the book has stopped me from even trying to watch the series.
I've watched the Discworld movie and that was amazing.
Never.
You should give it a chance.
Never seen it either.
Pretty sure I'm one on her life insurance, but that was before the last. I feel like there's a history, and I drink to that because similar here.
Doesn't sound like you still have contact with your mom. Can be a good or a bad thing. That doesn't really matter. If it's the bad thing, I do hope you are still on the life insurance.
Yes. I had to think for a moment. The emotions can be very complex here, and it's easy to say something that can be, not great. But what Tifa said.
You don't always choose talking about
storms. It just thundered outside when there was absolutely no report of anything of the sort.
The weather was pretty good today.
It's a great day.
So yeah, storm, weather, everyone stay safe.
Yes.
Stay dry.
Circle of Magic with Sean Astin and Tim Curry. I think that might have been it. I think that's the one.
Doesn't ring a bell either.
I can look it up after the stream. Every one of you stay safe. Tell your families to do the same. Now, please do it again.
Satoko-chan?
It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. The back of my hand was stinging. I went to pat Satoko's head and then she hit my hand.
What's wrong, Satoko?
Okay, I didn't expect that.
I really thought she fainted.
Wait, did she put a thumbtack on her head? Satoko was scratching at her head as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and become itchy. It was so sudden and so unprovoked that I didn't understand what happened. What's wrong, Satoko? At some point, her body had been covered in a thin layer of sweat and her breathing had turned ragged. When I pat her head, did she not like it? Was that what it meant?
Head wound, maybe? Like a lot of abuse, especially if they don't want to see it, they hit you at places where you won't see it, like back of your head.
Or where your clothing normally is.
Or where your clothing normally is.
Or she is having, I don't know if PTSD is the right word here, but you know, when,
I think that
let's
fits.
say, when you've been hit in the head a lot and somebody is going to touch your head and you start seeing the image of you being about to hit in the head again, your body reacts. You don't mean to, but your body will react to defend itself.
It's possible. I just really thought she fainted.
Hey, did you dislike being petted? Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Satoko's head. The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, there was a shock like static electricity and Satoko began to howl.
Tut! Slam!
That's multiple A's.
Slam! I felt a minute.
She grabbed my arm in both hands and, as if flinging off a snake trying to cling to her, as if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. It happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom fell deathly silent. As Satoko bellowed, it sounded like she was in the throes of death, and she unsteadily backed away. Yeah, that's PTSD.
That does sound like it, yeah.
Oh my god, what are they doing to her?
I was technically joking. There's an actual Discworld book called Hawk Father, which would imply the existence of a Hawk Mother, Hawk Mom.
Given the way Terry Pratchett wrote, Hawk Mom might as well have been the name of a book. So, got us there. But yeah.
I don't know any really.
It sounds kind of cute.
I know some titles, but that's it.
I know Discworld.
Don't even know that.
But that's the universe, I think.
I have a mosquito sting at the worst spot. It's like right here, next to my nail. And it is such an annoying
Now, what do we do if we show something to the camera? We show it properly and then we move it to one of our noses, preferably mine, because I sit farther in the back. Beautiful, Tifa. Now, can you read your line?
Yes, I can.
Then she threw up the food she'd just eaten. She vomited it all back up. The sound of Satoko's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom. Are you okay, Satoko? You seem sick.
I can't do...
I reached out a hand and she swatted it away with all her might. With such extreme strength that I fell onto the floor again. Satoko put both hands on her head as though protecting it, groaned some more and took a few steps back. And then she began swinging both arms around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach, bento boxes, chairs, threw them, tossed them and flung them about.
Wait, stop it, Satoko! What's wrong with you? This is going well.
She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Satoko alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, there were desks and chairs all over the floor, bento lay scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Satoko's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas.
Someone better have gone and grabbed the teacher at this point already. I'm sorry.
The strings of tension loosened around Satoko. And maybe she suddenly grew scared of her own actions because she started trembling and gave a word of apology. But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So, for now, I decided to answer as everyone's representative. No, it's fine. Are you alright?
I am sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Our words didn't match each other at all. Satoko hugged her shoulders and back she went.
Bang.
She ran into the locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused the bucket atop of the locker to fall, making a loud sound, and that scared Satoko most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtains in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Satoko, what on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Satoko. What happened?
I said, I don't know. You're wrong. Please stop, please forgive me.
Can somebody please get the teacher?
Yeah, this is taking a bit too long for...
Like, I'm not saying Chie will be better equipped to handle this situation, but somebody needs to call somebody who can help.
The funny thing is, if someone just says, hey, curry stinks, she'll be there in a second.
Everyone's stun-locked. I mean, listen. Fair though. Like, especially, like, this is a mixed group, right? With, like, really young children and, like, we're the oldest ones. Tifa, come on.
Well, it's happened before, where we just talked shit about curry in the classroom and all of a sudden Chie came storming from the teacher's lounge because she heard it. But she can't hear all of this ruckus going on in the classroom.
To be fair, like, this is a more serious one. I'm pretty sure the teacher is currently doing something, maybe on the phone to Child Protective Services. But, like, if you've never seen somebody have, like, a nervous breakdown, or is PTSD reaction attack? I don't know the right term. PTSD
I think this
reaction.
falls on the nervous breakdown, yeah.
But, like, this person right now, Satoko, effectively doesn't, like, the person we know as Satoko doesn't really exist in this moment. This is a living being that completely survives right now on instincts. And this person is not in control of her own faculties. And I don't mean any disrespect. This can happen. But, like, nobody in this room is equipped to deal with that. Like, I'm pretty sure...
We have kids from like 6 years old in here, don't we?
Yeah, it's like fight or flight. Like, if I suddenly saw Tifa, like, react completely out of character, start throwing up and break things, I would be freaked the fuck out too. And I've had panic attacks myself. I know what that can do to a person. That's just panic attacks. That's not all of this. Yeah. Miona's class president, she's flailing too. Yeah. And
I mean, it's unexpected, obviously, what's happening.
Yeah. The thunder agrees outside. Just calm down. Satoko, do you know who I am?
No more. I hate this. I hate this.
She isn't even here. She is in the situation. Like, every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried out, Satoko, it's me. It's Keiichi. Don't you recognize me? I would never, ever hurt you.
No! I don't think he's the right person to get into it at this point. I can't get too loud here.
Come on, calm down. It's all right. I'm your friend.
Help me! I don't want to be scared. It feels bad. I don't wanna.
Suddenly my shoulders were grabbed and I was dragged backward.
Reina or the teacher?
It was Reina.
Sorry, Keiichi-kun. You get a little further back.
After pulling me back, she ran towards Satoko in my place.
It's okay, Satoko-chan. There's nothing to be scared of. Please don't worry. No more of that. Nee, help me. Nee, help me.
As she gripped the curtains and kept calling for Nini, she continued to wail about being forgiven for something and to be saved from something. What is this? Mia gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes. What the hell? What is this? Did this all come to an end yesterday? Weren't we supposed to go back to our old lives? Mion! There was a crazy sound. Reina had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Everyone stood surprised at Reina's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Reina embraced the bawling Satoko from behind and started crying with her, stifled. Reina, what's wrong?
I'm sorry. Keiichi-kun, be quiet for a minute.
What is it now? What happened? What did Satoko tell you? What did you hear?
I understand Keiichi is also a bit in shock.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, nobody is equipped to be dealing with this.
Yeah. Is it helping? No. Can you blame him? No.
No.
Shut the hell up! I told you to shut your mouth, asshole!
Reina's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. It was no more than a momentary howl of emotion for Reina, but it was more than that for me. She had shown me what was behind all that emotion, what was in her heart.
Ow. Satoko? Joe? No more! Forgive us. We couldn't do anything for you. Forgive us. Nini! I'm sorry.
Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Reina's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with grey, and the world lost its color. I thought we could save Satoko, but though I knew it'd be the sooner the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that we could be too late. I'd been making a huge mistake. I thought Satoko could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is just absolutely absurd. We needed to save Satoko. We needed to save her before she broke. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? That went without saying. Mine, no, ours. We all took on the duty of saving Satoko, but we were negligent to the point of laziness. In that sense, this was the inevitable result. Even if this didn't happen today and it happened tomorrow or the day after or next week, we would have just sat around doing nothing until that day. So this was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees, just as Mion and Rika-chan had done. And I too closed my eyes tight and couldn't stop myself from sobbing.
What is all this noise about?
She came when she heard.
Yeah, I know, but in every other scene she's there immediately and you hear her storming from the teacher's lounge.
Because it's comedic effect when somebody talks bad about Curry.
I know.
Behind everything, she genuinely hates my guts. That would have been also kind of like in line with some of the things that have happened in Higurashi, and that would have made me chuckle. I would have preferred that over all that actually happened.
What's all this noise about? Wait, what's happened?
The teacher came and her face screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she realized the teacher was here, Satoko went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains and, like nothing happened, smiled.
Hojo-san? What on earth is going on here?
I just got into a little squabble with Reina-san is all. We went a little crazy over our lunches. Right?
Reina didn't nod in reply, but then, since Satoko wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. We all just stared, in a daze.
It was just a little horseplay. I scared everyone out of their wits.
Satoko would probably sweep the whole thing under the rug. For what? Her heart is torn to pieces, so what? What else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi doesn't ever intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. So you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry, beg for help, and you can run away.
We can't do anything.
Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, those few words that had tormented me countless times. Those words were a spell, and when I heard them, my whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave departing.
Suddenly, Bob.
I'm supposed to not like the music, right? Because it kind of gives me like boss fight music.
Yeah, just before. When you enter the room where behind the door.
Yeah, like shit's about to go down, but like in a driving way, not in a depressed way. And then the world's color flipped inside out. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold and I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At the time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small petty vessel of my head, floating in the air a little bit above it. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free of the cramped confines of my skull and stretched out my roots in all directions as far as I wanted to. It was a strange feeling and one I'd never felt ever before. An odd sense of exhilaration. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend. My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed with grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to action. What the fuck is happening? Because suddenly the LSD hit. Yeah.
Slightly feels like it. I think it will all depend on what he's going to say after this, but he has this moment of clarity, I guess.
Like reaching a moment of enlightenment, like suddenly everything becomes clear. But
apparently.
Me on. You curse it all you want. Curse your powerlessness as much as you want.
Huh?
If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I'd have cried all day. But the fact was, this was how things had turned out. I couldn't take back what had happened. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I'd been looking at things so narrow-mindedly I could scarcely believe it. To save Satoko, the only thing to do was to save Satoko. That's the only thing I thought about. I didn't allow myself to realize the most basic, direct and certain way of removing the source of Satoko's unhappiness. No, actually I realized it yesterday. But as for the means, I'd relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity. I never considered carrying the task out myself. I would obliterate Satoko's uncle. There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Satoko required mostly money. But the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was only the weight of his life. I kept eliminating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with only the knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I killed him didn't matter. I would allow any method from whatever time and whatever country as long as it ended in a quick and certain death. If I were to have an additional condition, it would be to not get caught. Removing him was an act designed to return the peaceful times we had with Satoko. If I was arrested in exchange for removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we'd go back to our normal lives. That was my supreme objective, my ultimate goal. Kill him, definitely. But definitely don't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with one another. The condition of not leaving a trace back to me automatically narrowed the number of murder methods. No witness was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there would be nobody around. I mentally reconstructed the land around Satoko's house. The number of pedestrians different at different times. The movement algorithm of the neighbors. Would I lure him out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where would I carry this out? Where? It needed to be somewhere I wouldn't leave a trace. When? It needed to be as soon as possible for Satoko's safety, without wasting even a millisecond. This is absurd, completely absurd. When I thought about it this way, it struck me at how easy the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if I was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer. But our reason prevented that. It told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by the police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. Absurd. If you went all the way out in the very middle of the ocean, you wouldn't leave any trace at all. Anyone would drop those they hated into the depths if they knew that. It was all too easy to simply remove him. I could leave class right now, grab a metal bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Estimated time would be 25 minutes. If I wanted us to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1500 seconds. That's still minutes. I knew just how much of his continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within just 1500 seconds after making up my mind. From when I decided to do that, he only had 1500 seconds. Actually, if I ran at full speed to his house, that number would go down even further. But he was alive. He was still part of his world at this very moment, having torn Satoko's body and mind to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1500 seconds. You think I'd let you breathe for You think I'd let you live to breathe even 1500 more seconds of air? I'm taking that permission back, right here, right now. You'd better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually did more than 1500 seconds. I'm not just gonna end you. Getting back our old lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting out of his world. They won't find the culprit. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands on the likes of you as naturally as I brush my teeth before bed. So to do that, I'll make a special exception for you and give you more than 1500 seconds. I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I can construct the perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Keiichi. You can't let that time go to waste. Yeah, I know. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him with certainty. I won't even waste much time to perfect that plan. Think back, tomorrow's Watanagashi, isn't it? Last year, on the night of Watanagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant and her brains splattered everywhere. That's it, he's someone who deserves to be given death on the night of Watanagashi. Hey, oyashiro-sama. You call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Satoko. Cursing Satoko's family for the damn stuff is your own business, but now you've made Satoko unhappy when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Keiichi Maebara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, a failure. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. Besides, if you had just cursed and killed both her aunt and uncle last year, none of this would have ever happened. The curse this year? It's not on you. I'll be the one deciding. It won't be the three families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes. No, not some vague people who I can't tell if they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way. Just watch. Stay quiet and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of the earth. I will stomp out his very existence. Go away, disappear, and die. I'll tear your heart apart just like you did to Satoko. I'll have your blood as payment. Wow! Okay, now I understand the music.
It somehow works. I can't believe Keiichi turned into a Danganronpa killer, trying to make the most convoluted murder method possible.
I love how... I want to say, him being 15-year-old shone through the moment. Because it's like this rapid fire of thoughts. Suddenly it all became clear to me. I need to remove my humanity and I need to become the most base machine If I cannot secure her happiness, I need to remove the source. I need to be the murderer myself. Like, all of this, like, clean, sterile, mechanical thought. If not A, then B. I'm thinking, how long do I take? Like, it's all falling into place. And then he, like, whips himself into rage. 25 minutes, no. 1500 seconds. You get 1500 seconds to live. No, I'll give you more than 1500 seconds. Like, villain monologuing to himself and then basking in that moment of glory.
Because he has it all figured out in his head now. He will save Satoko.
Yeah.
And that's how he will do it.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Can't trust anyone if you want to do it right, yeah? I say we take a very short break here before we snap Keiichi back to reality.
How about we take a normal length break?
That sounds good.
Keiichi is a very theatrical kid. He just doesn't always express it out loud. Yes, he does. Okay, sorry.
This was his inner voice.
Not in speech, but in inner monologue thinking. He definitely has the visual novel main character soul of a poet.
Yeah, but that's not out loud.
Yeah. True. To me, it was one and the same for a moment because I read the lines, so it's like out loud for me. But you have a point. Yeah,
you're listening to the inner voice out loud.
Yeah, I'm saying the quiet parts out loud.
Exactly. It's like when you're the villain in a movie and you talk to yourself, thinking no one can hear you. That's
but you're actually monologuing, and you've just spilled all the beans to Batman, who remotely told Alfred, the Joker just told me the plan. Can you, like, go fix it real quick while I stall him? He seems to be having a moment.
Basically,
thanks, Alfred. Yeah. He starts monologue. Yes. I'm gonna monologue off screen during the break real quick.
BRB. We back.
Tifa treated herself to a piece of chocolate during the break because I feel like she deserved that. I can't see the chat. Now I can go. You know what I just thought about while I washed my hands? Now, we've spent this whole moment, Keiichi going full ultra instinct and now wanting to become a murderer. I feel so bad for Satoko. And, like, besides, like, the reasons why she had that moment, also the fallout of that moment itself. Because if that were to happen to me, I don't think I would ever not randomly live my life and then think back to the moment I was in school and I had a nervous breakdown and I threw up in front of everybody and thrashed the classroom. Which ultimately is like the least important thing of this whole situation. But I would imagine that makes it not easier to, like, process the totality of it. Like, I would hope that this isn't supposed to sound mean, and I hope it doesn't. I hope that in that moment she snapped to the point where she has a hard time remembering it. Because at least then she doesn't need to deal with the memory. Or it all just becomes hazy. You know what I mean? Like a silver lining kind of thing.
Don't know how much this memory might still haunt her in that regard.
Ultimately, it shouldn't. But for someone like me who tends to overthink situations that have happened 30 years ago, I think I would.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. But she hasn't had more of these moments in the past. That was more.
We don't know. This could be a thing that has actually happened before. We do not know.
No, the only thing we know is her trouble kid side. Yeah. Going for destruction.
But at the same time, Higurashi has proven that they don't mind just lore dropping things after the fact.
Yeah.
So if I just went, this whole scenario that you just witnessed, yeah, that's the 5th time it happened. Like,
Oh, this bit is the least of our worries.
I wish I could forget some things. Same.
Yeah.
I've actually once thought about going to like hypnotherapy or something that helps you forget, because like the things that come back and I don't want to say haunt me because it's not horrible, but the things that make me cringe at myself 20, 30 years ago, it's like I could do without that. And like objectively, I understand there is no value in me reliving these moments because I can't change from anywhere, and I've moved on, and I'm a different person now than I was 20 years ago. Like, who isn't? But if I could forget, or if I could just not remember, that would be swell.
I feel like it's very typical and also kind of the plot of every movie that deals with this topic, that if you make yourself forget something on purpose...
Things are gonna go wrong, yeah.
No, not things will go wrong, but there's this part of you that knows there's something you forget, and then the current you will try to find out what it is you forget, and then you go on this epic journey to regain the memories, only to learn that it was you who made you forget these things, and you agreed with whatever procedure was done to you to get to this, and then you go full circle.
That's why you leave a video message for yourself. Before the procedure, you go, "Hello Jack from the future, this is Jack as of today at this time. I'm going to have a procedure done to remove these memories from me. I will not tell you because then they might come back, but yeah, it was me." It reminds me of something. Yeah, kind of. That's Total Recall.
Good Doctor, but no spoilers.
A bunch of shows and movies have done that before. Total Recall. I think there's still debates what exactly happened in Total Recall. Spoilers for Total Recall, but actually not spoilers because I'm not going into it. But Total Recall is a movie where I believe to this day fans believe multiple variations of what actually happened during that movie because of how the plot works. I think that's kind of amazing.
Don't think I've ever seen it.
I think you would hate the movie. It's a sci-fi action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, yeah, that's probably not for me.
There is a psychological thriller aspect to it, but at face value, it's very much a Schwarzenegger action movie.
Don't think I've ever seen a sing. Actually, I've seen a series with him.
Yes, we have.
They had one on Netflix 1-2 years ago.
Yes. I forgot the name.
I think that's the only thing I've fully seen of him.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of movies. I was a boy growing up in the 90s. I want to say I've seen 90% of Schwarzenegger movies.
I don't think I've seen a single one besides that series of his.
I will fix that. I can fix her.
I'm not sure if I'm interested.
Some of them are not bad. And these are the things you talk about when you don't want to deal with the fact that your main character has just decided to become a murderer. Alright, let's do this.
Keiichi-kun, are you alright?
No, I'm not. Reina, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor?
You surprised us. You suddenly fell down. Were you having a nightmare? You were moaning.
Shut it. Quit squeaking at me like that.
Beep. Beep.
My friends gave a start and backed away. What? Reina and the others, they exchanged glances, unsure of what to say, and stood confused for a few moments.
Well, was that your voice, Keiichi-kun?
Of course it was. Reina gulped firmly and opened her mouth.
So you basically woke up as a new Keiichi with a firm goal in mind, one target.
No, but now we are the one with Higurashi eyes. That's what's happening here.
Oh!
We are the bad guy.
Oh, that could actually be that we are finally having that moment.
At least that's how I take it.
For a second, Keiichi-kun, your eyes were really scary.
I didn't even think of that.
I hate Psycho. No, I don't hate Psycho. I hate,
hate Psycho. You know, we can put that in the list of things I dislike. It's right under hedgehogs and Kirby for you. I know you didn't hate Kirby.
I hate, psycho, how well those eye emotes portray the Higurashi eyes. And tomato.
And tomato.
Then that's on her, because I like tomatoes. I stopped and restarted the sentence because I realized that the pause I left for the audible comma was a tad not long enough. She's trying to drive a wedge between us, Psycho, but I say we're not letting her. Do you see what happens? How people act that don't like tomatoes and hedgehogs?
And green tomatoes. Still tomato goes on the list.
I've had fried green tomato once. It was divine. I never had it before or after. I do want to again at some point. My eyes. Probably just a trick of a light. Don't waste my time.
I'm not mistaken. I've never seen those kind of eyes before.
What were these guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately.
Lately? They've been too scared of him lately. What did I miss?
I think it's a press A moment.
You are Keiichi Maebara-kun, right?
What was Rena saying? Who else do I look like except Keiichi Maebara? The look I gave her seemed to speak quite eloquently to those irritated thoughts. She understood and quickly apologized.
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Okay, so complete personality swap as well?
No, I don't think it's a personality swap thing. I think it's a... They now have the impression of us that they gave us when they went all murder face.
Yeah, but it also changes your personality.
Does it change the personality, or does it bring... Or is it the symptom of a part of you coming out that normally people don't show?
Stop going too deep. Other personality.
No, I'm serious. I want to say, or I want to think, I guess, that this is messed up, but given the right circumstances, virtually every person would be willing to murder somebody.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not usually something that comes up in your daily life. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, yeah, today I'm going to kill my neighbor. I mean, these people exist, but they're not your average person, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean. I'm overthinking it.
Yes.
Thanks, Tifa. I feel like it's necessary with this sometimes. Anyway, so normally your life is variations of I don't feel like going to work today, or oh my god, the pizza yesterday was amazing, or I'm really looking forward to Friday evening because I'm gonna go out with friends. You know, something. It's just average daily life. The part of you that actively thinks like, I can grab a knife in the kitchen, and when I can go to this guy who's made my life living hell, I can murder him like this. People have these thoughts. I'm not saying they don't. But usually that doesn't become the core of your person. It's intrusive thoughts you might have, or depending on the situation you're dealing with. It might be something you actively consider, but then still you stop thinking that way because you don't want to murder somebody, really. But you could. And
yeah, but that's not the thing in this moment.
No, but I'm saying that part of Keiichi is now at the forefront. That's not a different personality. That's part of him that just, in a normal life, wouldn't exist.
I think right now you're talking tomato.
Maybe. Monsters from the id. Yeah, that are just reasons to need to kill. Everything breaks down at an individual level of circumstance. Yes. It's really crazy if you think about it, if you ask me, but No, not view all tips. That was the wrong button.
No, we had 2 new tips.
Yeah, I want to click here.
Emergency.
And D2 -3, number 44. This sounds like a horrible like calculation in math.
That's probably a case number.
Emergency.
June 18, 1983. Abuse issues regarding Satoko Hojo. Urgent. We propose that Satoko Hojo must be taken into immediate custody based on the items below. 1. Family situation. Life with adoptive father who recently returned to Hinamizawa has already turned disastrous and she's currently subject to unendurable physical and mental abuse from the father. 2. Child Consultation Center's response. A child probation officer was dispatched yesterday on the 17th from the prefecture welfare office, but because of the 77 case, changed to continued coaching and cautionary action. Unfortunately, the consultation office head does not properly understand the situation. 3. Status of concerned child. Child already appears to be suffering from an outbreak of something close to neurosis or manic depression. If her unstable, puissant mind is negatively stimulated by stress, it will put her development of a healthy body and mind at risk. This cannot be allowed to continue from a humane standpoint. 4. Allegations made to the family court. We propose, based on the above items, that Satoko Hojo should immediately be taken into protective custody. She should be secured temporarily under emergency allegations to the family court under Article 28. We request emergency coordination between all related agencies.
They were actually going to get her out 4 years ago from Tepe. But then she was like, no, it's fine, don't...
The kid doesn't have a say in this though. But this case will probably follow up.
D2 3 number 44.
Children with special needs. General D2 3 number 44. 1977. Child name Satoko Hojo. Years old.
77. This is when she was 6 years old then.
I forgot how old she is now.
Something like that.
Residence, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. 1. Consultation circumstances. Telephone SOS from child of child abuse. 2. Abuse situation. Child claims she is being physically abused by her adoptive father. 3. Family structure. White marks abusers. Abuser, adoptive father, real mother, older brother, child in question. Note, adoptive father and real mother entered family registry in 19-something. The child is the daughter of the mother's previous husband. I was kind of hoping they would say what happened to the actual father, because we still don't know that.
I have a really bad feeling.
4. Child Consultation Center's response. On the day of the child's telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. On that day, the child welfare officer on duty visited the child's house and conducted an interview. The adoptive father sincerely listened to instruction and agreed to take child-raising workshops in the city from now on. As part of the suggested coaching, the center will continue to observe the situation. 5. Other notes. As a result of numerous counseling sessions at the city's education consultation office regarding the child, we learned that there was a high possibility the cause of the child's excessive distrust towards her adoptive father was the result of a lack of communication. The abuse she claimed hadn't actually taken place. She had made a false report to distance herself from her adoptive father. Below is a note written in pencil by the person on duty at the time. The problem appeared to be more with the daughter. Chief Investigator F of the city's Education Consultation Office said that the most of her stories of abuse were likely fabrications. They decided to shift the focus of their coaching to the child. Be cautious not to take everything the child says as truth.
Satoko's currently 11. When she was 7, when what happened, I guess. 7? It doesn't matter. She was younger when it happened 4 years ago. Hear me out. I don't like this, but I have to say this so that later on I can. I don't want to be right about this. I want to be really wrong about this. Remember when, during one of her previous tips, we had these statistics of how often certain family constellations had committed what type of abuse? Remember that I had
You believe Satsuko was sexually abused?
a reaction to them using the sound effect for that with her image and that line. What if the reason why Satoko's mother wasn't with Satoko's biological father anymore was because he abused her that way?
Could be.
Because there has to be a reason why he is not in the picture anymore. And I would imagine there's a reason why that is also never brought up.
Yeah, but I think that will still be brought up. But I don't think that will be the case. Kind of messed up to hold a kid to what they did at 7 years old.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but the problem is also that the chance of it then actually happen 4 years later when you have that track record is also relatively... No, I'm not going to say relatively small, but smaller.
It's literally the story of a boy who cried wolf.
Yeah. So I do understand. I do still think you should go and investigate, which they technically have. And I think they should have gone through the steps again, which they usually do, I would believe. But to just go like,
She lied about it before.
she lied about it before, we're not gonna do anything, that should definitely never happen.
2 things about that. In the note we read, it said that allegedly she made this up. They didn't have proof. You know?
It didn't seem like it came from nowhere.
They specifically put wording in there that it seemed like she made it up. Seemed like. Meaning to me, or maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know, but this reads to me like there is no definitive proof either way. Meaning me saying at the beginning of the stream, oh, maybe the dad of the second dad did it but got away with it, is very much in the picture. It might not be likely based on their assumptions and what they have witnessed, but it's possible. They used terminology, they used phrasing that it's not 100% proven.
Well, one way to find out.
Also, I think, at the risk of this also having effects on the people, in a moment like this, you should take, as this institution, you should take the child into protective custody and then further investigate. Because now they didn't because, oh, we should, but before it seemed like she made it up. I would like it better if they then decide, okay, there's been a history of this being potentially made up. It looks like this is actually being done to her now, so we'll remove her from the situation and then spend some more time looking into this.
I get it from your point of view, but that can also really turn out the wrong way. Because if it turns out that they're innocent and nothing has happened, they will still have the image of their child being taken away from Child Protective Services. You might lose your job, all sorts of shit might happen.
That's
so
the
you
problem
have that
with
point of view. Plus, being put in protective services also isn't a vacation. A lot of kids get messed up in the system, and you also don't really want to put them in there unless it's absolutely necessary. So I see it from both points. Like, of course you want to have the kids safe.
Then I want to live, this is utopian, I know, but this is a wish. I want to live in a world where child protective services are funded and equipped to the point where, without having to worry about this doing more damage to the child, they would make the decision to take them into protective custody. And I understand the social effects this might have on the family, like losing their jobs or being shunned by their community and all that. But I'd rather, this is selfish, but I'd rather more children where it's a situation like this get the help than less.
Well, in an optical world, it wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
Like if you talk about a world where you want to live in, I mean...
Yes, fair. I want to live in a world where none of this shit ever happens.
Like,
Yes.
I get what you're trying to say, but...
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Am I still killer Keiichi? I'll just keep reading it like this. Mion and the others, having to set up for the Watanagashi festival or something, invited me along, but I refused. Of course I did. How could I be taking it easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve. The first thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. I already understood this, but killing a man would be so very easy. Spoken like somebody who never actually fought anybody. The really hard thing would be not getting arrested for it, so we could get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized it wasn't easy. There we go. Japan's police force have the highest arrest rate in the world. One need to deceitfully pull off a perfect crime, and it couldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have 100% arrest rate. I've read a lot of articles on trials with people brought up on false charges. At court they consider whether the charges are false or not, but figuring out the real criminal is entirely out of scope. And that meant perfect crimes did exist. Unrelated but related, this is why Ace Attorney works. Because of what he just pointed out. That gave birth to Japanofornia and the wild things that happened there. In fact, perfect crimes were sort of like works of art. They could even be respected and revered. You just had to look at the inundation of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult-to-solve incidents involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff, but they all wanted to show one thing. They wanted to show the beauty of a perfect crime. There was something divine in the flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes, perfect crimes were skills of the gods. And in that sense, the serial freak deaths were recalling the curse of Oyashiro-sama? I understood they must have been the works of gods. Each one appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop it from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods. Those are perfect crimes. And I would be setting up my own crime before Oyashiro-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in the running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Foolhardiness would be needed to make the decision, but I needed to be calm, cool, colder than ice to put that plan together. Kill him like a flame, but as systematic as ice. Starting now, I needed to retain both of those ideas within me. Modeling my crime after a mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Sometimes kidnappings involved disturbing original methods that made it into the newspaper. Sometimes kidnappings involving disturbing original methods that made it into the newspaper were used as a basis for novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polished and refined their most fantastic artistic crimes. imitating that could be a shortcut to planning the perfect crime in a short period of time. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. One who really liked mystery novels was my mom. She'd read every well-known mystery novel from overseas, from past and present. Every time she watched the mystery shows, she would always criticize them as having cheap tricks or being poorly thought out. I wonder what the perfect crime would mean to her. If you ever find yourself in a situation that you have these thoughts, seek help.
It's kind of interesting because I had to think of a friend I had in high school. He really disliked his parents. He was like 3 years above me back then. And he really disliked his parents. And I remember he had this little booklet in where he fantasized in different ways on how he would kill his parents. And basically every page, he let me read through it once, every page had a different way on how he would kill the both of them. And the one I remember was actually the last page in the book, which just said old age, funnily enough. Because his parents were in, I believe they were already quite old, like towards end 70s. They had him pretty late. He was 18 at the time, I think, when I still had contact him. Like, I'm pretty sure he never acted on him. On it. I lost touch with him after he finished high school. But I suddenly had to think of that. Now that I read the perfect crime and mystery novels. There are very elaborate ways. What?
I don't know what to do with this information.
No, you don't need to do anything. I was just thinking about the...
Yeah, but...
and yes, the notebook he had on him.
I'm conflicted, because... what do you do with that? Like...
Well, I can tell you, I never did anything with it.
Yeah, I mean...
It wasn't me. I didn't write...
You told the story?
I mean, that, yeah, but I didn't write a book with 100 ways on how to kill my parents. I mean, he was always a little bit odd.
You're a magnet for chaos. Legally, at what point does a thought crime become an actual crime? Because nobody can read minds. So, if the kid from your story just every day, all day, thought about murdering people, nobody would know. And you wouldn't be able to punish a person for this, because there is no proof. You can't look into somebody's head.
Even then, it's not illegal to write it down.
I think the moment you write it down, that could at some point, if it's not already, become attempted murder. Because you made concrete plans.
Yeah, but you can just go, hey, this is for a novel or for a story. It's not like on this day I'm gonna do at this time and then I'm gonna do this.
My
and
parents'
then actually
full names, born on, living in. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't remember all of the ones he wrote down. I do recall a few of them, but it was more like an in the moment, not like on this day I go home and then do that. And I don't think that then counts as an attempt.
The discomfort the story brought me got ejected from my nose.
Yeah, back then I thought it was odd, but I never was like, oh, this is freaking weird.
You could change names and just claim, hey, I'm trying to write a mystery novel. Yeah.
Yeah, or I'm just writing this book based on or the characters are based on my parents, and to honor them, I decided to use their names.
Yes, because they too really love mystery novels. They would just love to be immortalized in one of my works.
Oh, but it's seriously funny. I haven't thought of this dude in years.
That reminds me, there's this skit from Dave Chappelle, from Chappelle's show back then, where it's about a rapper singing about murdering other people and then in court being like, yeah, no, that was a different guy. Like, I just sang the song. I'm not saying I did it. And then it's like really intricate, like, oh, I shot him in the chest, then I hacked off his head, then I buried the different parts there, something like this. And he's like, and like in court, it's like, okay, all of these things happen. It's like, I just sang the song. It's art. Like,
I mean, unless someone then suddenly dies in a suspicious way, I think you're probably good.
Intricate plans can sometimes be grounds for conspiracy to murder. Oh well.
Well, I'm pretty sure nothing ever happened to him. I do remember I saw him once, maybe 1 or 2 years after high school, and I recall him talking about the studying thing he was doing, not what the status of his parents are. Don't recall that.
Mysteriously vanished. I hope not. Do you still know his name? You can Google him later.
I don't know his last name anymore.
Oh my god.
But I'm pretty sure I would have heard anything about that.
This feels like Tifa just putting a light under her face and telling us all of this while we're sitting in a circle around a bonfire or something. You know, like spooky story time.
Seriously, I never thought about this anymore, but now suddenly it triggers. I see the notebook right in front of me, and I see myself scrolling through it while we were sitting in the aula, school canteen, on the windowsill.
The auditorium.
Yeah. Suddenly I see the entire scene in front of me.
You hang out with some weird people sometimes.
Oh, I absolutely did.
Excuse you? Oh, did
I said did.
Yeah. I feel so happy that you say did. Aww. Love. If you love mystery novels, you'll really enjoy Umineko. Yeah, in about 600 hours worth of Higurashi. At some point, maybe. You need to get through this first.
Not anytime soon.
Yes.
What do I think is the most well done perfect crime in all the mystery novels I've read is?
Yeah. Well, you read quite a lot of them, right? I figured you might know a lot about them.
It's more fun to read than to find out. If I told you all the tricks right off the bat, they'd be no fun anymore.
It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. She was deflecting the question so I would somehow butter her up first and draw out an answer.
Of course. Well done mystery novels. Yeah. They all have a unique charm to them, so it's hard to say which is the most interesting. You'd really have to force me to pick one.
Oh, don't ask him to force you. I think he's in a state where he might. I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know about the trick that made you the most surprised.
If it was really a perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case though.
That was true. Then there'd be no point.
Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting solved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't make a very good topic for a novel.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. If a main character can't solve it, it wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Was I being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so that you can get to the goals, so that you could solve them. But I couldn't use something so optimistic. It needed to be the be-all, end-all of tricks so that we could, without a doubt, return to our old lives.
By the way, Keiichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories?
Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. She looked at me intellectually. That is something I will never be able to pull off. Yeah, I don't think I have a face for it. Or the means to back that up, you know? I can look at you in a million different ways, but not intellectually. I wanna point out that in the overlay you can see the emote as it's supposed to appear. And in the preview we've got here in front of us, we can also see the emote. In our preview screen up there, so that we kind of look at the camera when we read chat, it never completes to the emote, it always has the text. And if I had just seen the emote, yes, I get it. But being reminded that the name of the emote is horny. I mean, it could be his stepmom, right?
I always mistake horny for intellectual as well. That's such a smart look.
Horny is when you also do the weird lip thing, right? Like you lick them. You're welcome for that image. Wrong emote, but it fits. Yeah.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Clap. I've never gotten to read it, but apparently one time a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel award. Apparently she was really into it. Don't even become stories. What does that mean?
Keiichi, what are the essential parts of a story?
A beginning, a middle, and an end?
Correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there's no beginning, then the story never starts.
Well, yeah. If nothing happened, nothing would begin.
But nothing also has a beginning.
But that's the point. If you don't know the perfect crime, you cannot talk about the perfect crime.
Oh, like that.
And you wouldn't know about the perfect crime because you never... For it to be a perfect crime that you can describe, you need to know about it. So the only person that could write about it is the person that pulled it off. But then they would incriminate themselves, therefore making their crime imperfect because they gave the trick away. Therefore you create a loop and it's not possible to write about the perfect crime.
Well, I feel like there are always a few things you can already do to increase your chances.
Are you sure you want to share this information out loud? Because I quite like having these accounts. And I don't feel like putting on a fake mustache and nose and glasses if I want to stream again in the future.
Right.
And change my voice. I'm totally not Jack.
Murderer dies. People find out old letters about how he did the perfect crime. The crime was perfect. He got away. I want to say
I
as
didn't
well.
think of that. Ooh, smart. Yes, 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 yes.
The moment you can get away without being convicted, it's perfect. And there's thousands of perfect murders,
so
technically.
not murders, but effectively what you're saying, by my moral compass. Right now, tons of people are getting away with perfect crimes.
Yes.
Amazon isn't paying the right amount of taxes. Just saying.
Perfect crime.
Legally not a crime because the financial codes allow these things to happen. Morally, though, I would ask, should this happen?
No, but I want to say every crime is perfect until the moment you get caught.
So just keep killing witnesses.
That is a strategy I think certain organizations use, yes.
But I like you delivered that completely nonchalantly. I think that is a thing that yeah, unfortunately.
How often do you have an IRL murder case that turns pretty big, there's media attention to it, and suddenly the witnesses either are missing, have unfortunately fallen off a balcony from 11 high? You
mean like the Boeing whistleblower that was found dead?
That's a coincidence.
Somehow,
a coincidence.
I don't know why that would randomly happen after they've become a whistleblower. I do not know. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying it's a weird coincidence.
At some point, that strategy will work. It helps more if you're rich, but...
Kill themselves with 2 shots in the back.
Yeah,
Magic.
Like try to aim for the head, but unfortunately missed. The bullet ricocheted off the wall in their backs.
No, they were trying to clean the gun, but their back was itchy.
Or that.
And, people sometimes do dumb things. Some people agree this method is effective. Jack the Ripper. Heinz der Schlitzer. If you want to go full German.
No, but I am serious. If you don't get caught,
slasher, actually.
It's perfect. It might be super messy. You might have left evidence behind. But if you do not get caught and sentenced.
Funnily enough, not a real life case because I don't want people to get away with crimes. But funnily enough, Skyrim uses a similar system. If you commit a crime, it only becomes a crime if NPCs see you. And if you manage to kill all NPCs that saw you commit a crime before they can report it to an NPC that can alert others, you can get away with it. And I think they patched it out, but at some point early in the game, there was a glitch where animals too would count as witnesses. No,
Who is him?
I think there was a somewhat infamous post years ago where somebody played the game as role-playing as a thief and they stole something. And then they were caught and then they started killing people because stealth assassin. And in the end, I think it was a horse or a sheep that, according to the game files, was still flagged as a witness to the crime. Like, chicken. Oh, can I kill the gods? I'm a call the gods. I'm a kill the gods.
Yeah, you should.
That was the problem. Yes, that's how it went wrong.
Never trust a chicken.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. They are a witness.
It is wrong. It's a crime.
But yeah, right. Nothing happened, so there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There would be no mystery, so there would be no solution. Oh, I thought I saw Keiichi and I'm like, that's you.
Wow.
In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime.
Wait a second. Could you explain that again? My mom just told me something absurd. And she was saying it so smoothly too, so I kind of tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now.
It's not really that difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light, that's all.
Just has to never come to light. Man, if only there was, I don't know, the swamp somewhere here in old Onigafuchi village.
Just lure him in that stupid
Oh my god,
forest that is shown now.
is he gonna use the traps? That's so stupid. That implicates Satoko, because she built them and everybody knows that.
Reminds me of a Black Mirror episode. There was an animal with.
Oh god, oh no, Psycho. Oh, I've seen that episode too. Oh, the memories.
I have not, and I feel
Yes,
like
you have. We've seen it together.
What? I don't remember any of that. I do remember a certain game where an animal was a witness. And depending on the animal, you can be incredibly unlucky. Like, what if it's a dog that feels like you did something wrong to it and starts growling every time you see it? Or a parrot smart enough to tell on you. But seriously, what Black Mirror episode?
Oh, he's not talking about the pig fucking one, Jack. Yeah, that's one that came to my mind, and we have seen that episode together.
I don't remember at all.
It's fucked up.
Might
Wait.
need to rewatch. I guess the pig was a witness to something.
Spoilers. I'm telling you these spoilers because I don't want you to watch the episode. Because I don't think you need to. I knew it. It's the one that came to mind when I hear Black Mirror and animals.
Seriously, when have we watched this?
Years ago. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong, fact check me on this, or don't, preferably don't. Go watch it yourself if you must. I think it's some terrorist organization is threatening to murder all of London. They've got a nuke or something. Something horrible is happening. And every attempt to negotiate with the terrorists fails. Like every time they go like, yeah, we'll just stop them, we send our SWAT teams, they start killing people to like prove their point. Some horrible shit keeps escalating. And ultimately, because of this whole situation escalating is, their demand becomes, we will only stop this if you do a live broadcast of the Prime Minister having sex with a pig. And then the show actually deals with the logistics of preparing the Prime Minister and the pig for that to happen. They kidnapped the royal princess, that's what it was. It wasn't even nuking the whole thing, it was just one person. Still a bad thing, scale is different.
Okay, I might rewatch.
Broadcast on national TV. And no AI, because they immediately shot that down, like, you're not gonna deep fake this, you're not gonna get some freak that's into this. It's gotta stay tuned. No tricks, you have to go through all of these hoops to prove that you're not faking it, it has to be the real thing. And he does that. They're not getting out of it. I don't know how the story ends, because when they actually got to the moment where the thing was happening, I was completely tuned out mentally. I was like, no, The threat of doing this, okay, but cutting it off at the last second is what I expected. I didn't assume they would actually go all the way, and they did. And it's made in a way that left a lasting impression on me.
Obviously not on me, because I don't remember at all.
For me, it was a scarring moment for the rest of my life. For you, it was a Tuesday.
Daily business. Just put on the list.
I released the princess before, but no one noticed because everyone was on the TV. There's a lesson somewhere. So the pig fuckery wasn't even necessary. Crazy, isn't it?
But still, admirable that he did it to save someone. You deserve a fucking medal for that.
A medal for fucking or a fucking medal? Anyway, no, it was actually the thing Psycho was talking about originally before I got mentally devastated by the memory. A hamster saw a murder and they put a brain reading device on it. That actually sounds really adorable. I mean, not that there was a murder. But a cute little hamster solving a murder case by like beep beep.
The moment that technology becomes available,
it's going to change the world.
It's going to change the world. And imagine if they start with something that would fit a dog, then a cat, then we go smaller towards hamsters. At some point we might be able to put it on a big insect.
Yeah.
All these spiders in this house could be telling on you
Suddenly,
at some point.
the amobas living on your skin become cameras.
Maybe they already are.
They share a morphogenic field anyway, that's fine.
The pigeons have gone unnoticed for years.
But they're not birds, they're drones.
But yeah, let's quickly...
Hamster Witness episode comes later. I need to watch that one, because that sounds way more fun than the other one.
We can rewatch all of them.
No, we don't.
Let's finish this conversation with Keiichi's mom. For example, how about this? Say there's an old man living deep in a forest nobody goes into.
Uh-huh.
And one day, the old man gets killed by an axe. And let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house and they were drinking together, but they got into a fight and he killed him.
What if the son went to the old man to ask him a question? What an extremely cheap plot. It was an impulsive crime without a bit of planning. It was pretty far from a perfect crime.
I still want to say that it was like an 8 out of 10.
Thank you. I thought more like a 4 out of 10, but I'm happy I found my audience.
It was good. But Keiichi, the house was really, really deep in this forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would ever go out that far. Then his son would go back to town and say that the old man was doing fine.
What about that as a perfect crime?
Keiichi, this incident would only begin when it was found out that the old man was killed. If nobody ever visited the old man's house after that, that beginning would never occur.
The beginning would never occur.
So basically, the story wouldn't start. The incident wouldn't come to light and they wouldn't call in detectives. And nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there'd be no mystery. They'd think the old man was still living by himself deep in the forest. And the old man's face would appear in the sky and that would be it. Something like that, you know?
That's amazing. That's a pretty great trick.
But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for entertainment, after all. They can be instruction manuals for perfect crimes.
Hey ChatGPT.
I wonder what happens if you ask ChatGPT how to commit the perfect murder.
It will tell you that it cannot, that it won't be accessory to crimes and therefore not give you instructions.
Makes sense. I'll ask it on my work account tomorrow.
The trick with any AI, not just ChatGPT, is to ask it questions in a convoluted way.
Yeah,
If I was writing a
story.
novel about a murder that is unsolvable, how would I go about it? Yes, exactly, Psycho. Start the prompt with, hey, I'm writing a mystery novel, give me some idea. Yes. See?
Yeah.
Full circle. But make sure that there's no hamsters around. I was trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mysterious drugs, traps involving huge sums of cash. None of them were needed for perfect crimes. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly, if I could kill him without anyone finding out and dispose of a corpse somewhere no one could find, it would basically already be a perfect crime. Of course, if someone up and vanished one day all of a sudden, people would get suspicious. But that didn't apply to this man. Last year, after their aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Oyashiro-sama. When the night of Watanagashi came around again, everyone would have to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, he had been living with a lover of his in town. No matter what it felt like when he vanished, no one would be suspicious.
That's also still a thing. We do not know why on earth he returned just before the Watanagashi.
Correct.
After running away from it last year.
Correct.
There's still been no explanation on that.
Keiichi is also leaving out a very important fact. What happened when we first met Teppei?
I don't remember.
What was he doing?
Drinking.
With?
His friends.
His friends who know where he lives.
Yeah, but
Yes,
we're
you-
assuming they're scumbaggy enough to just not care.
No way. I mean, potentially, possibly. Would I bank my chances on that? Hell no. No. People hated him, after all. No one would care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. There was no point in thinking inside my house anymore. I left, getting my bike out of the garage. For now, it didn't matter where I was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air on my body. Where I'd kill him, how I'd do it, what time, and how to dispose of a corpse. If I just had those 4 things, I could get a good plan going. I was so surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered. I'd been completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a really long period of time. But if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I would have to kill him on the night of Watanagashi. So, as long as I was standing in for oyashiro-sama, I only had 24 hours remaining. Satoko, just hang on for 24 more hours. I can't even imagine having to suffer for even more. But please, hold out for a little longer. I know you can't even last another second. I know that. But please, just hold out. Your Nini will save you for sure. One more scene? I think this is still...
No. This is the perfect line to save. No, I don't trust any one more scene in this game. But especially with how much Keiichi talks. Like, there is no just one more scene.
If Jack just continued reading, would that be a perfect continuation of the stream?
No, because Tifa has access to buttons.
Tifa couldn't stop him. He
So
could press the buttons again.
So it would not be the perfect crime.
I want you to know, Tifa, that your weakness disgusts me.
It's okay. I shall carry that burden for both of us.
You're gonna carry that weight. Did I or did I not see this coming? I think we had a whole talk about somebody eventually wanting to kill Teppei.
Yeah, I think you said Keiichi will kill him. Or did we just talk about the coach? I think you might have mentioned it, and I was like, nah, Keiichi isn't gonna do it. If anything, it's the coach.
We didn't write any of these down. Because I think it was very clear that with all that's happening, somebody is gonna try to kill Bianco, Teppei. But
yeah, but the who?
I wonder.
But it could still be that Keiichi's doing all this planning and someone beat him to it.
And then it would be Coach. Or Satoko, I still believe she might do that too. But
Satoko, I really don't think.
But wait. We learned a whole bunch of things today. Satoko is in a state where even something as seemingly innocent on the outside as patting her head can make her break down completely. And when it was just in the class, no matter what happened, the friends talked to her, Keiichi tried, the others gave her space, Reina tried to intervene. Nothing happened. She was still in that moment. The moment, however, Chie, the adult teacher, showed up. She flipped the switch.
But she broke.
That seems like it's an active thing.
She broke the moment, I think.
Switch flipped, and just like that, she talked it all away. She was instantly in control of the situation again. She realized what was happening, and she talked her way out of it. I think this has something to do with an adult being in the room.
I can't say.
Not stupidly enough, but for some reason, it has to do with a perceived adult. Because her friends, Mion for example, I think she's 18, 17 now. From an 11-year-old's perspective, that's an adult, right? But not as a perceived adult necessarily, because the green-haired girl, that's the class president, that's not an adult, that's my friend Mion. The moment a person of authority came in, an adult in that sense, she was able to speak again.
Yeah, but there's also someone she didn't want to further find out.
I don't know if it's...
We don't know
if those
yet.
are the same reason or if they're related in some way.
Yeah, but we need a bit more on that.
Yes, but I would imagine that no matter how bad the situation is for her, even if she has a complete breakdown, the moment the Child Protective Services show up, stand at the door, she would go, yes, no, nothing's happening, I just fell down the stairs. Based on what we've seen now. So that's one thing. The other is, Keiichi has a habit of sometimes talking to himself and addressing himself as Keiichi Maebara. At least I always thought of it like this.
Motivational
And
speech.
I mean, I do that too. I would imagine everybody has done it at some point or still does it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I speak to myself, but I never speak to myself in the third.
I do when I'm in the gym. On the treadmill. Come on, Jack. Two more minutes. You can do this. Stuff like that. What if there is Keiichi Maebara and there's Keiichi Maebara?
Any more on that?
No. No. I come in, I drop a line, I won't elaborate, I leave. No. What if...
I mean, it's a bit hard if we have Keiichi Maebara, who's also Satoshi, maybe Oyashiro-sama, and could also be the coach on the side, or maybe just on the weekends or on game day.
Only when the cicadas are crying. Oh, sorry, the kiscadas. Or the cicadors. It's getting out of hand now, there's two of them. Maybe. Like dissociation or like compartmentalization. I think it's more likely the latter.
But that's just not only a Keiichi thing at the moment. Or not at the moment in the chapters.
Yeah, but... what if that other Keiichi Maebara that exists is the reason why things go wrong?
No.
Okay, fair enough. You don't need to elaborate. I'm not even gonna ask because I'm not gonna make the same mistake you did. Last thing I think we learned is... It's so weird. I have a concept in my mind. I don't know how to put words to it. After Keiichi had his LSD color switch moment with fighting music, Reina specifically pointed out, you don't look like Keiichi Maebara. Remember?
Yeah, but that's the same sort of thoughts we might have had, as you already pointed out yourself.
Yes, but what if, from their perspective, like if the roles are reversed, the very same thing happened with Reina and Shmion when they decided to murder people?
Yes, we are kind of experiencing the same phenomenon, but with different people.
What if it isn't just a person snapping and deciding that getting hiccups, the truth will out, that you read that one because it's gold.
A phenomenon in Hinamizawa.
Yes.
Happens all the time.
What if what we just witnessed Keiichi going through wasn't an artist's rendition of somebody snapping, losing their mind and piecing themselves together in this moment of extreme stress and then deciding the best thing to do is become a killer? But exactly what the others have gone through, and that's the curse of Oyashiro-sama.
That is kind of what I think is being implied, yes. We can ponder about this some more on Friday, because that's when we will be back with more Higurashi, because we're doing 3 Higurashi streams this week, because someone could not agree on a game.
No, somebody couldn't make up her mind.
A not true story.
Oh, okay.
I had my mind set, it just didn't really work.
How well do you think Keiichi's murder plans will go?
Not well. I think someone will beat him to it.
With how Higurashi is, there's every possible version. I think that would be really like funny in a way. Not funny haha, but funny messed up. Like he now, we spent the whole episode going through his plan. He goes there and Teppei is gone, or Teppei is dead already.
Teppei will be missing.
Teppei will be missing, and then later on he's found, and then the new mystery for this chapter, another one, becomes who did it. And it will be something in the mountains, because the traps in the mountains have been brought up twice in tips now. And if I learned one thing, it's that Higurashi gives you tips sometimes to throw you off, seemingly, or to feed you information you might not actually need, but it seems related. Or they give you tips for things that later come back during the actual main part of the story.
It's definitely gonna be important.
And I would think, who knows about these? Well, the friends do, because we all went there together. And I would imagine Coach does, because of how close he is to Satoko. I'm pretty sure he would have told him about it. I don't recall if he was there during their trips to the traps.
Don't think so.
Because this is the most convoluted option, I'm going for this. Keiichi makes the plan, goes there, doesn't find Teppei. Teppei is eventually found, killed, mountainside, or there's traces on the mountainside with the traps. And then the question is, Satoko, Coach, or somebody else? Or maybe did Keiichi have another dissociation moment and kill him then? Because now I remember, real quick,
That could also be.
there's one more thing we learned. When Keiichi witnessed all of this shit happening, there was a line, I fell to my knees. He physically fell.
When?
Just when the color swapped and he became
yeah.
murderous and Keiichi. So he sees this, reacts to it, falls down, click, has the whole evil monologue origin story, flips it back, or at least comes to his senses again. And he's like, did I fall? Why am I on the ground? This opens the door to when he is, I guess dissociating is the right term here. When he does this, his memory becomes at the very least imperfect. He wasn't confused about where he was or why he was there, why am I in school, but he was unaware of having fallen, even though he himself, in his monologue, stated this to himself.
That seems in sync with the other characters so far.
Yes.
We just don't experience it through their eyes, so it's hard to say.
But what I'm trying to go for is, if he can forget that he fell, I wouldn't put it past the author to go, actually Keiichi killed him off screen, we just didn't witness this because it happened when he snapped again. And he doesn't, Keiichi, now that he's back to his full faculties, just doesn't remember. Because he was not in the driver's seat. Kind of. I don't know where all this is gonna go. But as Tifa said, we will hopefully find out more on Friday. What a way to start the weekend, people. Planning murder.
It's my favorite weekend activity.
I was gonna say it's part of a nutritional breakfast, but it's not breakfast. It's
No, that comes after.
After murder or after Friday evening?
After murder.
When you have a weekend to chill.
There will be no chilling because
The weekend to kill.
someone needs to go fix his dad's TV and internet.
Oh yeah, true. We need to do the second half of my clap. We need to do the second half of my dad's birthday celebration. We have to go for dinner again on Saturday, and we have to go to their places. They have to have cake, and my dad isn't capable of following instructions by his internet service provider. So I have to help him set that stuff up, because unplugging the old stuff, plugging the new one in, and doing what it says in the letter you get is difficult for him.
It's gonna be fun. More on that on Sunday. I'm sure we'll have plenty to tell about it.
I hope not.
As usual.
I hope all I will have is that the cake was nice. Happy birthday, Mr. Egg. I will let him know. Tifa, nuggets of wit. She's pressing the button. Anyway,
It's not what you asked for.
Thank you everybody for witnessing Higurashi with us. Sorry for being late a little. Back on Friday with more Higurashi. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.